Ellen Zavian with the Association of Corporate Counsel. You've decided to use GLD within the ACC to manage your contracts. Why don't you tell us a little bit about why you made that decision and what you were looking for, and then we'll talk a little bit about adoption.
Well, you know, Jason, when I got to ACC, the system was really not organized. I asked for a contract, it took me an hour to find it. If I didn't find it, I had to piecemeal things because an employee left and took the contract with them. The PDA system, the PDF system didn't accumulate all the contracts and I couldn't search it. So it was really difficult. And then it got to the point where I was asking the vendor to send us the contract. So that wasn't gonna hold water for me for a long-term solution. And when I got, the first thing I had to deal with was our contract policy. And I had to redevelop how our contracts came through the legal department. And once I figured that out, then I had to figure out what we were going to do with the executed contracts as an organization that has 7 departments and we're 55 people.
Tell us a little bit about the process of gathering the contracts. Explain that piece so that people know what you were doing and where you come from, where you are now with GLD.
First thing is you have to have a buy-in from each department. So you really need to go to each department, meet with them and say, what are you doing with your contracts? How do you implement them? How do you know when they come due? How do you know when they don't renew automatically? Where are you putting them? Is there an Excel sheet or just a server? And you realize when you go from department to department that everyone is really doing their own filing system. So the first thing we had to decide within the legal department was what filing system would best meet everyone's needs. For example, you might put hotel agreements under H, but I may put the hotel agreement under the name of the hotel in my filing system. So it was really coming down to a systematic filing system for the entire organization.
Okay, and from there, when you got a handle on how you were receiving contracts, what was your next step?
Well, once I got the departments to sort of buy in that this wasn't a system that was going to sustain us, then I came to them with GLD. And I said, it has all these whistles and bells, but we're going to take one step at a time. And so I truly introduced them to GLD, really stage 1, which was uploading the contracts. And then after they bought into that, the stage 2, tagging the action items, when things are due, when I want to be pinged about renewals. That came later after they already bought into it and they presented some time into the system.
Aside from the people at GLD, what was the primary reason you chose GLD?
Well, GLD is part of Bridgeway and they've been an alliance partner of ours. We looked at various systems and then when I said, well, I need a contract management system, they were like, well, did you go to Bridgeway and look at their system? And originally we looked at your larger system, but for a small department where 9 attorneys, only 3 attorneys within our department really look at contracts, and we're 55 people. For a small law department or a medium-sized law department, this was a much more customizable solution for us. We didn't need the large law, huge customizable product of Bridgeway's.
Right, so how easy has it been for you and your team to start using GLD? How hard was it to get going? I mean,
I would say the prep work.
The prep work?
was the most, and that had nothing to do with GLD.
Right.
We had to straighten out our contract policy system. We had to determine which contracts were going to be uploaded. Was it a threshold of $1 or was it a threshold of a risk assessment? Once we determined that, the rest really was just a process document on how to upload, keep it simplistic, a layman could upload, and then another process document on how we were going to tag things as action items. So I really looked at it as a stage, and we're about to head into stage 3, which is providing other departments knowledge of how each other department is using it.
So The hard part was the process, but once you had the process in place, you started using GLD. How easy was it to start using GLD?
We never got one person from any department come back to us once we sent them the process document on how to upload, which was only 2 pages long, on how to tag things. We never had one person come to us and ask us, how do you do it?
How satisfied are you with GLD now? You've been using it for a while.
Not only have we been using it internally, it saved me about an hour the other day looking for a contract, which is glorious because the IT team came down and said, where is our contract? And I said, didn't you keep one? And they're like, no. But it also enables the event team that does a lot of amendments to their contracts for like hotels and banquets and so forth. They tag their emails to the subfolder. So anything that's amended, I now have all in one place. But what's great about the marketing team is they're using it completely differently. They want to know what the organization as a whole is doing with one particular company, because that enables them to give discounts or say, okay, this company's done X amount of dollars with us, we need to go an extra yard.
So it helps in negotiation.
Absolutely. It creates leverage for me when I know 3 other departments have a contract with this vendor that I didn't know about beforehand.
Right. Would you recommend GLD to anyone?
Oh, I talk about it all the time, in my sleep, wherever I go. It's fantastic. My assistant general counsel uses the other portion of it, which is the to-do list and the agenda items, and it organizes her day. So I really see it on a constant basis for my staff.